What's up everybody, Teancum here with Sew Yeah Quilting. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you make this amazing cat quilt behind me, only using Vegas strips. Let's get started.
Alright, so you take my cat pattern, huh?
You want to do it?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, Halloween is right around the corner, so let's go over to the quilt and see what we're working with today. So obviously, these are gigantic blocks here. Now, we need a lot of space because we're working with Vegas strips and we wanted to jumbify the cat. A lot of cat. Wow, I can't speak.
A lot of cats are small, this one's big.
A lot of cat I can't say the word cat apparently. A lot of cat patterns make their cats this big. We want to jumbify it by making a really big cat here. In addition to that, the block right next to it is a very simple, almost like an Irish chain-esque block. Super simple to make there. So we're gonna spend most of the time focusing on the cat, and then I'll show you guys how to make this block here. Now, if you're looking at the block, you can see a lot of background spaces here. And in addition to that, we added in this fairy frost to give it that shimmer and shine. You can use whatever you have at home, or if you want to use something similar to what we did, we went ahead and used black fairy frost, and then this right here is a light cloud shadow play, and that's just what we had to work with. Now, let's start by opening up our, I almost said layer cake, our jelly roll there.
Vegas strip.
By opening up our Vegas strip here. Now we're using just a older Halloween line that we've had here for a minute and just giving it a new fresh look. So it's gonna be very, very nice and pretty. So guys, in the pattern, which is down in the description below that you can download for free, it tells us to separate this into 2 equal piles. Now, when it says equal, if you look at the quilt behind me once more here, you'll see that I went ahead and pulled out black cats, orange cats, some purple cats as well. I went with the more traditional Halloween colors. Now, all the grays and the light pinks, I went ahead and put around the rest of it. That way the cats pop. So I'm gonna be doing something very similar to that. But that right there is going to be my pieces here. This will be my cat, this will be the rest of my quilt. So I'm gonna just pull these aside and then we're gonna focus up on these. I'm gonna first pull off one of the colors. Jumping into the cutting instructions next. Now, I'm gonna be honest with everyone, there is lots of pieces. If you're doing anything to make it look like an animal, there's going to be lots of pieces that need to be cut. I'm gonna whack off my salvage edges here. So I'm gonna cut my very first one here at 9.5 inches, and I need 2 of them, and I'm double layered here. And that gives me my 2 9.5 inch rectangles that I need. Now I'm gonna need a 3.5 by 6.5. Now I'll need a 2.5 by 6.5, and I'll need 2 of those as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and open this up because I need a 3-inch square and a 2.5 inch square. Guys, you can use this piece now to cut it up, do a scrappy binding, anything like that, or if you want to make something else out of your collection, you most definitely can. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this into my 3-inch square. I'm gonna subcut this one to be 2.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that process to all 10 of my strips for the cats, and then we're gonna start cutting some background fabric. So guys, I went ahead and cut my background fabric off of camera just to make it simpler for everybody, because there's a lot of cuts, but they're pretty much the same thing, just with different sub-cutting. For example, this right here is a 2.5 by 20.5 inch strip, and then there's a smaller version, a smaller version, smaller version, smaller version, itty bitty version, which simply makes up the pieces that are surrounding the cat there. So nothing to worry about there. 3-inch squares, 3.5 inch squares, 9.5 by 6.5, and I've got a 3-inch strip as well. Again, the majority of this is making up the sashing going around the animal there. So guys, we're gonna start off with the body of the cat. It's the easiest piece to sew and it's the largest. So I'm gonna take the body pieces here. I'm gonna take one of my 3.5 inch squares and one of my 2.5 inch squares, and I'm going to draw a line on the back side of it, corner to corner, and I'm gonna take them and place them on the top right corner, making a snowball edge from the top left to the bottom right. I'm gonna sew directly on those lines and give them a quick trim. And then always iron towards the dark side, as we know. Now from here, to finish off this portion of it, very simple, I'm gonna just flip one 180 degrees and sew them together, which gives us the body of the cat. And guys, just like that, body of the cat's done. There's not much there yet, so I'm gonna just slide him aside, and then we're gonna start working on the ears. Now, ears, we're gonna be using these 2 strips here. And again, exactly the same thing as what we've just done here. I'm gonna grab my 3.5 inch squares, and I'm gonna lay them right on top, draw a line corner to corner here. I'm gonna sew directly on that line. I'm gonna trim 1/4 inch away like we've been doing. Now I'm gonna iron these to the dark side. Then we're gonna put these together like so, right sides together, sew all the way down. And one thing I do like about animal quilts though, is that they're all meant to be a little different. So if the ear comes out just a hair wonky, or the triangle here comes out a bit wonky, it looks just fine. I'm gonna pull my cat down here, guys. Now it looks a little wonky because I have to sew another piece onto the side of it, but we're just gonna build them out as we go along here. Next, I'm gonna be using the rest of these pieces here, which they're gonna look something like this in the end. So I'm gonna take a 3 inch square and place them right sides together, draw a line on top of it, because I need 2 2.5 inch half square triangles. We're gonna just kind of build this out together. I'm gonna cut right down that seam line. So now guys, we have to square these up to be 2.5 inches square. Use the method that you like the best. And now we're going to press them to the dark side. This is gonna make up that turn around the cat's tail there. Now we need to snowball off both top and bottom of these pieces here. So I'm going to take a 2.5 inch square, place it from the bottom left to the top right, is where I've drawn my line already. On the bottom portion, we're gonna do the exact opposite angle. So it'll be going from the bottom right to the top left. Take it to our machine here, give it a nice clean line. Cut 1/4 inch away from that seam. Same thing on this side. Boom. So now guys, we're gonna sew these 2 together, right sides together, end to end. Which then will give us more of the body of the cat here. So all it needs now is I need a strip of my gray here and a strip of my gray here, and those sewn together, which I have already cut. So guys, I'm gonna just sew them end to end. And then I'm gonna sew these 2 together. This is not this one's not easy. The thumbnail was easiest cat ever. I'm gonna sew that one like this. And now I'm gonna just sew all of those rows together. So this one, this one, this one, and this one together. Bring that back in. I'm gonna repeat this exact same process to the other side. So guys, cat tail, cat body, cat head, and then we have that really big piece that we did as well. All we're gonna do is sew this to this, this to this, and then sew those 2 together. Make it simple and easy for everyone. Gonna press to the dark side again. Head to that background print there. And now it's time to attach the cat head to the body. The only real point that matters is the neck, right? So just gotta make sure that that point right there, lining up. If not, he's got like a crooked neck and he looks a little funny. Now I'm gonna go ahead and iron this out. Oh, there's so many seams on this one. Right there is the finishing of the cat itself. Now we have to finish off the block here, and essentially it just requires some sashing going around. I'm gonna put a 2 inch here, a 3 inch here, and a 2.5 there to finish this gonna go ahead and add on the left side. That's actually the right side, but you know. So guys, I added a 2.5 inch strip to the bottom, 2.5 inch strip to the side. Now I'm gonna add one of the wider strips to this side here, which will complete off the block. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that, iron it to the dark side, which will finish off this block. So just like that, with the sashing all the way around, this block is done. Super easy block. Are there a lot of pieces? Absolutely. But it's a simple construct. You saw how fast it actually gets put together because it's really just big squares with a couple snowballed edges and some half square triangles. Now, to complete everything, we have to build block number 2. So let's get on to doing that. So guys, at this point, we've already made our cat block. Now we're gonna make this additional block right here. We're gonna start off with the easiest pieces, which are those 4 patches. If you don't know what 4 patch is, it's right there. Super simple. I already went ahead and cut a couple of 3-inch strip by width of fabric. I went ahead and cut them down a little bit smaller so they fit better on the camera screen, but you would go width of fabric here. And it's simple, we're gonna take these, sew directly down. So from here, I'm gonna cut them down to 3-inch rectangles. So now that I have these, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place one this direction and then one this direction, kind of making up a checkerboard pattern there. So it doesn't matter if you do it this way or this way, as long as it's a checkerboard look, you'll be fine. And obviously behind me here, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 more for the center, so I need 8 total. Go ahead and cut those, and then I'm gonna press my seams open on this one because I've got black and white. So guys, to make the quarter square triangles here, you can grab one of your Vegas strips, and we are going to subcut this down to be 6.5 inch squares, also following the pattern on how many you need there. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing for my light color, my background color. Then we're gonna take these, pair them right sides together with the light color being on top, and then we're gonna draw that guide there, or that line corner to corner. Now we're gonna sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of these and then cut them down to be half square triangles. Relax, Ian, relax. I'm gonna go ahead and cut directly on that line, which I almost free-handed that, but that's not gonna happen. Don't square these ones up, just iron them to the dark side. Now we're gonna turn these into quarter square triangles. It's very simple, guys. Purple on the left, background on the right. And the next one, we're gonna do the exact opposite, mirror image. So purple on the right and the other one on the left there. And now, I'm gonna mark a line from this side to this side, okay, just straight across. And then I'm gonna double check to make sure that is the right direction by flipping this up, making the block that I need. I'm gonna go ahead and make this one up. I'm gonna put a line across. Now we're gonna sew on both sides of that line. And then we're gonna cut directly in half, which should reveal a beautiful quarter square triangle. Now I'm gonna repeat this obviously a couple more times, but at this point we need to trim this up and make sure it's perfect. I'm gonna trim these up to be 5.5 inches. And guys, just like that, we'll have a beautiful quarter square triangle. Gonna go ahead and iron this. Boom, 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 boom. So guys, I went ahead and made up some more of these like you've seen. Now, at this point, it's just a little bit of orientation, and putting these blocks together makes it real simple. I'm gonna start off with my 4 patches, and then I'm going to grab my quarter square triangles. Now, it's really important that there's a line going straight across with all the black checkers there. Then what you're gonna do is go ahead and put one of these here with the purple part touching one square, And then you're gonna put the other one. So again, the purple spot is touching that top left square. So both sides need to be touching that top left square. Then we're gonna go ahead and sew it together. So guys, right there is the quilt block itself. Now, I'm gonna rotate this so that way that black square is right there. And then I'm gonna do a mirrored image, just like so. Right sides together. And just like that, we've got half of the block. I went ahead and made another one, and I'm gonna lay these down right sides together. And guys, just like that, this block is done. We have made the first block, and let's not forget about that beautiful cat block as well. As far as constructing the actual quilt itself, it will be one of these and then one of the other block, as you can see behind me. But all in all, it's a quilt that takes a lot of pieces, guys, but nothing complex. Snowballed edges, half square triangles, and you're off to the races. In addition to that, it uses up the entire Vegas strip pack, and it makes a massive quilt in the end, which I absolutely love. As far as block construction goes, or quilt construction, we've got the cat and we've got our other block there, and you're just gonna orientate them, you know, every other one. Makes it pretty simple there. And it makes a beautiful quilt in the end, and it's gonna be one of those quilts that looks super complex, but it's just because of the nature of how big these blocks are, it gives a stunning and bold appearance. And with that, we hope you've enjoyed this week's video, and if you have, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't be afraid to share it with your friends. Additionally, down in the description below, there's a free PDF download, so make sure you check that out. And while you're there on our website, maybe you can pick yourself up some Vegas strips while you're there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.